Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into this week's edition of Stop, Look, and Listen. I'm your host, LeTroy Gardner. This week, we have a special guest. She's the co-founder of Nourish Doc, which is a global holistic wellness platform for women. We have Amita Sharma. Welcome to the show, Amita.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And, every time a guy is interviewing me, I feel so honored. So thank you for taking.
Now, well, believe it or not, we're impacted by, what we're about to discuss as well, just
Mhm,
indirectly. So,
mhm.
I'm sure you're gonna have some helpful tips for myself and other men that have to, tolerate it for a week, once a month, as far as just being a supportive husband.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea, what we are trying to do is really giving women tools, empowering them to navigate their journey, which is like hormonal imbalance, whether they have regular periods, when they have regular periods, or when they start getting into this perimenopause journey, when they start having irregular periods, and then there are a lot of other things that start happening including when they have regular periods and irregular periods. So we women are blessed, right?
Right. All right. So, Amita, just tell us, what is Nourish Doc?
So, like I said, NourishDoc, the whole intention of NourishDoc is to build a holistic wellness platform for women and who are going through either PMS when they have normal periods or when they're starting with their perimenopause journey, which is 40 plus women, and give them all the tools so that they can start making modifications to their lifestyle, to their diet, the movement, so that these all these symptoms and the journey is less aggravated, right? And it's all evidence based, it's all holistic therapies, and I myself have interviewed over 3,000 plus holistic experts from all over the world to bring the right content for these women so that they can start building habits or they can start modifying their daily routine, whatever they need to embark on a journey which helps them get through this whole phase of whether, like I said, it's PMS, perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause, the older women.
Hmm. All right. So, did you have any personal experiences that led to that light bulb moment of creating Nourish Doc?
Yeah, absolutely. It always happens like that, right?
Uh-huh.
I always used to have very strange periods, when my periods were coming. But I think it became more, and I'm opening my my story here, which a lot of people, sometimes are very kind of considered a taboo. But I started going through perimenopause when I just turned 40, and honestly, I had no clue that this was perimenopause. And typically, what starts happening is your periods start getting irregular and they're shorter apart. And then, as a due to these hormonal fluctuations, I started getting hot flashes. I couldn't sleep at night. In the morning, I was my brain was all completely, I don't know, mushed is the word. I
Uh-huh.
had anxiety issues, a lot of anxiety, and I could not concentrate at work, and it impacted my work, it impacted my personal life, it impacted everything, right? So that's really the message I want to give to women is that it's, we talk about things, it's not just one thing, it impacts your relationships, it impacts your workplace, it impacts everything.
Hmm.
And at that time, like I said, I just wanted to fix myself. I never thought I'll be one day sitting in front of you talking about that I'm a co-founder of Nourish Doc because it was so aggravating to me and it was so disruptive.
Hmm.
So that was my experience, and I literally grin and bear it, that kind of an attitude. I went everywhere to get help, seek help. I was given medication which I did not want to be for rest of my life. I wanted to find a holistic solution. What can I do to help myself? So that's when my story started into digging into the holistic way, changing my lifestyle, changing my diet. And I was doing everything wrong, and so it didn't happen overnight for me, the changes that I made. So over the years, I started researching and fixed myself. And that's where my whole journey started of creating Nourish Doc.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So, you mentioned that you started experiencing the menopause in your 40s. Like,
Yeah.
why is it, as a guy asking the question, why is it that the programs are specifically catered to women in their 40s
So I'll tell you why. Because
and
so I
beyond?
started experiencing perimenopause, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perimenopause is different than menopause. Menopause happens in 50s. Perimenopause can start as early as mid 30s for women. And the reason we are focused on perimenopause, menopause more than PMS or regular periods or other things is because there's not that much research or work that has been done to a woman's this stage of a woman's life. We are all focused on the fertility part. If you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, right, a woman's fertility is celebrated, which is rightfully so. I have kids, so that's good. That's good. But in the sense, after the fertility, reproductive phase of a woman's life, that phase is the 20 years, like let's say 35, 40 to she turns a senior, which is 65 in this country. That whole 20, 25 years is nobody pays attention until suddenly she's senior and she has a chronic condition. She has an osteoporosis. She has dementia. You hear so much, oh, my mom has a dementia. My mom has whatever, XYZ, osteoporosis. My mom has osteoporosis. And that whole phase of the perimenopause, menopause is not really looked at, even by medical community. And there is a direct relation to when women turn 65 or something around that age group, the chronic condition of the percentage of women who have chronic condition is 80%. And there's a direct correlation of so many women having chronic condition when they're older, 60 plus, to the lack of care and lack of understanding in the perimenopause phase of a woman's life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in this country, as we know, CDC has issued chronic condition as being the biggest epidemic and trillions of dollars are being spent. I don't understand about the men so much, but women, I've done a lot of research and I'm not a medical doctor, but the women part is happening because of the hormonal imbalance during the perimenopause journey, or maybe before that as well, when they're not perimenopausal, when they're having normal periods. So if we come here to the root, right, come here in this phase rather than waiting a woman to be 65 and figuring out fixing the chronic condition and spending trillions of dollars. But if we come here 20 years, 25 years earlier is where our focus is because of this reason.
Mm-hmm. All right. So,
Does that
like,
make sense? I mean, I explained a lot of things here.
yeah, yeah, I'm getting it.
Okay, okay, I know. For women also, it's hard. I mean, for a guy, it could be very hard to comprehend sometimes. But hey, everybody has moms. Everybody has sisters and
Sisters.
colleagues
Mm-hmm.
and partners, and so we are all of us are impacted, right? Even the guys are impacted, whether we like it or not. But that's the truth.
Oh yeah. I mean, as a husband, there'll be moments where everything is great one day, and then the next, like I'm getting fussed at for, for no reason, or, you know,
Yeah,
I I know that we're not going to be intimate for a few days and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. And men have their own, they also go through what they call it andropause and androphase. It's just that we haven't really focused on men yet. But I've talked to so many men, and they all said, "Hey, we also go through the mid-age, not menopause, but the energy that kind of goes down, that testosterone goes down, and men also have, hormonal." Fluctuations in their own way, right?
hmm
So a lot of men, if you see in their mid 50s, they also could have these kind of issues. But like I said, we don't focus on men yet.
Right. Yeah. And I was going to ask you, like, why do you think menopause and sexual health, are still topics that are considered taboo? And what steps can we take as a society to normalize these conversations? But then, like you're bringing up the fact that as men, we experience it as well. So, I mean,
Mhm.
that's even more taboo because Like
Yes.
to have low testosterone as a man, that's like almost a death sentence. It's almost like your parts no longer work or is effective. So yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, just talk about first off why it's taboo. The
Mhm.
menopause for women, but then yeah, continue on about um, how we can grow this conversation about the men's side as well.
Yeah, so menopause has been a taboo. I think it's the end of puberty for women. It's the phase where historically, I'm talking, women might feel, they're not reproductive at that time. I'm not talking now. And nobody wanted to discuss it, and it's never been taught openly in the medical schools as well. I've interviewed so many doctors. They said only 8 hours have been devoted to learning about menopause. So it has to come from the community that's educating a common person like you and me, the medical fraternity, so to speak. And if they are not even being taught, how the heck it's going to come out openly, right? So that, I think, that is also a fundamental issue all over the world. It doesn't matter in this country, but now. Then I talked about the lack of research, and then the women also feeling a little bit, they can get low self-esteem during this phase, because the physical attributes of a woman can start changing. For instance, the hair thinning. You see a lot of older women with thin hair, as an example. They start putting on weight. There's bloating, in the tummy, that happens to a lot of older women, if you see that. So I think there's a physical attributes of a lot of women that starts changing as well when they're hitting the menopause, and they don't feel the self-esteem can go down, the self-worth can go down, and at the same time there could be discrimination at workplace as well, age discrimination, which we are all aware. So all these things, I try to hide my perimenopause journey, I'll be honest with you, at work, because I didn't want people to judge me that I cannot do my work properly, right? So I think all these factors, and I'm sharing my story, and that can contribute to, hey, don't talk about it. Hey, don't tell that I'm entering perimenopause, menopause, or whatever, right? And then to your second question, the sexual health. There could be a lot of women who the libido can get impacted. For a lot of women, sexual health gets impacted, and now we are talking about relationships. We are talking about, if you're not talking openly with your partner or your spouse, that can also impact their marriage. And there's a data: 60% of the women who get divorced are in the menopausal phase of their life,
Hmm.
right? So we know that the divorces are happening, but deep down they're not openly talking about this is a normal issue. Women can not feel very attractive, or they don't want to be intimate, or there's a pelvic health issues in the in the pelvic area, the vaginal dryness is happening. So it's all happening because of medical hormonal fluctuations, that because our hormones are going down, and that impacts all the parts of our body. That's just a fact. It just has to come out the way you and I are talking. They're saying it's a natural phase of a woman's life. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just that they have to open up and say, okay, they need to seek help, right? They need to seek help, because this can be fixed. It's
Hmm.
not that it cannot be fixed. It's not that all your life you're going to have thin air and you're going to get all those things. Can be fixed with the proper care. And that's where we are trying to bring,
Hmm.
opening up these communications openly, and bringing the right type of care for these women, so that they feel safe when they come to us, and they feel trust, and they can openly ask these questions, discuss these questions, and get help to help themselves, to be honest with you, right?
Right.
Dr. Todd McLean provides periodontal and dental implant services in 2 convenient locations. They offer over a decade of experience treating patients, and appointments can even be scheduled in the evenings, weekends, or early mornings. Give them a call in Chapel Hill at 919-537-9774 or in Durham at 919-484-8338, or visit them online at gumsandimplants.org.
What is your approach to educating the communities about sensitive issues
Mhm.
while ensuring inclusivity and cultural sensitivity.
Yeah, absolutely. Cultural sensitivity, culturally, kind of inclusive is what we are trying to do because each woman is different. A Latino American woman versus an African American woman, an Asian woman, or white woman, they're going to experience these symptoms very different. So we want to include everyone. That's really is the intent. So our focus is to start with a very affordable, solution for these women for self-care. That's like $10 a month, which everybody can afford. And then when they have more, a deep, sort of like a personalized kind of approach, if they want to, then we have all these holistic experts that they can get coaching or guidance or consultation or whatever you want to call it. Then we have that as well. So that really is the approach. The approach is I wanted to really make this a plain field. The education awareness should be a plain field. It should not be so expensive that people can't afford it. The right kind of knowledge is what I'm talking about, right? So
Hmm.
that is the baseline for us, $10. And then beyond that, if you want to go consult a naturopathic doctor or a dietitian or whatever, then that becomes the second step.
Right. What challenges do you face in advocating for holistic wellness in a healthcare system that often
Mhm.
prioritizes reactive care over preventative care?
Yeah, it's been, because we all live in a society where we want one pill and we want to get well, right? That is, that we have been programmed. So it's taken some time for people to understand why holistic lifestyle is so important for all of us, irrespective of whether you want to take medication, no medication, doesn't matter. If you don't take care of yourself on a daily basis, you are going to get into this realm of chronic condition, and that's how we have been trying to educate, community that that is the first defense. That is the first line of defense for you. If you don't eat well, if you don't move, if you don't take care of yourself on a daily basis, and holistic health is nothing. We do that every single day, right? It's
Hmm.
literally, I'm using the word holistic health, but at the end of the day, it's really taking care of yourself on a daily basis in a plain language. And that's what I try to explain to the community to take care of themselves for self love, self worth. It's anything like that. You have a car. Hey, if you don't take care of the car, your car's going to break down, right? It's
Right.
a very simple thing. And the same thing is if you don't take care of your body, your physical, mental, spiritual, social. That is what holistic means, right? It's not just you look cool like a physical body, but mentally you're so disturbed that you are whatever. We know that. So holistic means taking care of your physical, mental, social, and spiritual wellness. It's everything. And if you don't do that, something or other would give away. And so
Yeah.
that's what we are trying to say. Explain it in a plain English, right?
Right. So just talk about, I guess, some of the success stories as far as collaborating with the global experts, making
Hmm.
sure that Nourish Doc's programs are impactful and, reaching well beyond the initial scope.
Yeah, absolutely. So most of the women, they experience these symptoms, like I said, and if they typically, I'm just sharing these stories from some of the experts who have shared these stories. So all, all of it kind of stems from their gut health. The gut health is a bit impaired. That's what a lot of studies have found. And with the gut health, the mental anxiety kind of goes. So most of the time, what they end up doing is fixing the gut health, fixing the inflammation inside the body. We have a lot of pesticides that we consume in
Hmm.
our food supply. We know that, for example, in women, a lot of makeup, a lot of other household supplies. So all these things kind of accumulate in our body and inflame the body. So typically, what these holistic therapies do is cleanse your body inside out, right? And there are a lot of different procedures, different kind of systems that have different type of things: medical detoxification, panchkarma, simple cleansing. And then they're really fixing your gut and including sort of like an all taste when you have a meal. Like we're talking about, protein, carb, and fats. In the same way, we're saying including all the meat, all the taste of taste, so that to feed the gut bacteria. So once you fix your gut, your mental health is also fixed. And then some of so these are the simple principles. Even the hair thinning is all about hormonal imbalance. So what they're doing is really balancing the hormones, getting rid of the excess hormone that's causing all these issues. So there's a lot of way that typically detoxification, like I said, or giving some supplements that are relevant to help the women, or taking some other getting some dietary things out, which is causing food sensitivity, food allergies, and supplementing it with some foods that are going to really thrive in your gut. All these are different ways that there's a lot of evidence and research that can help women, right? So I'm just
Hmm.
sharing with you some of the things that I have seen. I myself, I am an example. I'm honestly in a better shape now when I was younger, in my 30s, to be honest with you, because I just take care of myself, different things. So it works, but it's not one pill, is what I want to say.
Hmm. How do you envision the future of women's health care when it comes to pre and postmenopausal women?
So yeah, women have to be more open. At the end of the day, it depends on each and every woman. She has to be open about discussing what is happening in her body, and it should be all evidence based. That women should have all the options to start with the holistic care. If they want to take HRT, which is hormonal replacement therapy, they should be able to do that. So it should have proper research, proper funds to back the research, which right now it's lacking, and the women should be able to make their choices and should be able to do all these things. Right now, if you talk to an average woman on the street and ask her, what what is perimenopause, she would say, oh, I don't know. Then you ask, oh, are you having this? Oh yeah, maybe. So I think that there's a lack of understanding, knowledge that exists now. Women should be empowered, and that's we are just taking one step.
Hmm. How can we support Nourish Doc and
Well,
contribute to a healthier world?
yeah, please spread the message. Our website is www.nourishdoc.com. We are coming out with an app. We would love any help to spread the message in March. So that, like what I explained, women should be able to access all this information and access to all these experts at the palm. So we need all the help in spreading this message.
Hmm. What do you find most rewarding in this space, in the work that you
Uh,
do?
yeah, because when someone tells me when I wake up in the morning, it has not been an easy ride for me. It's been a roller coaster ride. But when I talk to someone and someone tells me in the morning when they're interviewing me or I'm interviewing them that you're doing the right thing, you're making a difference in people's lives. And I think that for me is the most rewarding thing, that if I can impact women's health, women's lives, even the relationships, forget about the health and wellness, that right, if I can help save some women's relationship and save them from getting divorced, I'm telling you, that is impactful, right? That is huge. So I think that's what makes me wake up in the morning and say I'm making an impact in people's lives.
Okay. So does your work somewhat trend in that direction more times than not, like a relationship therapist, or is it just giving them the insight on what they're experiencing and then them knowing like this is the problem and this is how I need to communicate with my husband and we can move forward from there?
I think relationships are part of this whole thing, right? Because if you can imagine as a woman, if she's going through anxiety and all these symptoms and she hasn't found any help, then the relationships and anything that she's doing is going to get impacted. So I think it's all interconnected. Don't you think
Hmm.
so?
I
Everything is
think so.
interconnected. If I'm not feeling well, my people around me, I'm going to be cranky and I'm going to be a bit, not in a mood to smile or talk properly. And that's all relationship, whether it's work, whether at home. So I think it's all interconnected is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I cannot say, okay, I fix my relationship, let's say, and my physical would get fixed, or I fix my physical. So it all comes together. We are all one human being, right? We have feelings, we have physical, whatever. It's all connected.
Right.
Right? We are not compartmentalized the way medical system does that. Okay, this compartment goes to this specialist, this compartment goes this specialist, that compartment goes this specialist. In reality, we are one human being that has a feeling, has a physical thing. It's all connected. So you fix one, you fix the other, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. All right. So, Amita, before we wrap, feel free to plug your socials, plug where we can find Nourish Doc, and leave us with a parting shot.
Thank you. Well, the best way is right now, go to our website, www.nourishdoc.com. We are on every social media, and when our app is launched in March, we will be announcing it, and we need all the help, like people like yourself. So I want to thank you for inviting me today.
All righty. Amita Sharma, co-founder of Nourish Doc. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for the work you're doing, making men like myself, our lives easier and more supportive of our spouses. And for Stop, Look, and Listen, I'm your host, LeTroy Gardner. See you next week. Peace and blessings.